Good morning, everybody. It's Prof Malan here. I'm talking to you from Lusaka this morning. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can. Yes, I can.
So I want to welcome everybody to this session. There are some people who are under time pressure, so I thought maybe we should get going. I do not know who have presentations. I know Tangeni has got one. I don't know if Evelyn has got one. Do you have one, Evelyn?
I have one. Yeah, I have one.
Are you ready to kick off? Then we can get it going.
Who else is presenting?
Pardon me,
I
madam.
am presenting as well.
Okay, Spencer.
Why
I
don't
am
you
presenting as
present?
well.
Okay.
Why don't you present and then I'll present after you?
It's fine.
Okay.
I don't mind starting.
Okay, Spencer.
Yeah, do that.
We will start. So, good morning, everybody. We are on the last module of the financial program, long-term financing, short-term financing, and business planning. I have to block one of the mics. I think it's P. Penda's mic because there's some children there that is giving us a lot of joy, but um, it's also a bit noisy. So, P. Penda, I'm just blocking your mic for now, but you can still hear us. So if you need something to do, just give me a chat at the bottom and then I'll pick you up if you want to say something. Spencer, I'm going to give you the chance then to do your presentation. I will then go over to your screen. So you must just need to now give permission to access your screen. If you can do that for us, please.
Hello. Yes, I've shared my screen.
Is this children with you, Spencer?
No.
Somebody's got some children there. I've no problem with that. Okay, Spencer, are you prepared to then talk to us about your presentation?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you are based in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Okay, very welcome to the session. And I think without wasting too much time, let's get going.
Okay. Good morning once again, everyone. I am presenting a business plan for a small milk collection center by the name of Chikwaka Milk Collection Center. Basically, sorry.
You're gone.
Sorry. Okay, you can see my screen.
Yes, yes, it's fine.
Okay. So Chikwaka Milk Collection Center is one of small milk collection centers found in Zimbabwe, and basically their business is to collect milk from farmers in the surrounding rural areas and then process the milk into different dairy products. But then when these milk collection centers were set up, they were set up as associations, and it's kind of an informal structure. And basically what I'm trying to present is that as Chikwaka or as these small milk collection centers, they need to change their style of business to a more formal structure. And I'm advocating for a private limited company. And I feel if this ownership style changes into a private limited company, then their chances of survival and being viable are increased. So basically the structure on the presentation is that there's basic corporate data, there's the vision, mission, and values, organization and management, infrastructure, products and services, core competencies, and sorry, I jumped the first slide where I'm looking at the preliminary details, contact information, professional advisors, definitions, executive summary, past, present, and envisioned state of the company. And then I had highlighted the basic corporate data, vision, mission, and values, organization and management, infrastructure, products and services, core competencies, market analysis, and looking at our market, the competitors, competitive advantage, our strategy and plans, objectives, strategy, operating plan, and sales forecast, where we look at sales volumes, production cost, pricing, gross profit from sales, financial analysis, break-even points, and staff costs, other operational costs, income statements, balance sheets, cash flows, and funding requirements, valuation, and risk analysis, where we look at the source and limiting factors, specific risks and solutions, alternative scenarios, and sensitivities analysis. For the sake of time, I felt the presentation would be too long. So in some of the areas, I really did not go into much detail because of the duration of the presentation. I thought it would take too much time. So basically, in terms of preliminary details, I have my contact information as the business promoter, because at the moment I'm not involved in any way in the business, but I have enough information since I worked with this dairy company, small scale dairy association for like four or 5 years. And then definitions, I just put 4 which I thought were critical for this discussion. MCC, which stands for Milk Collection Center, other DDP, which is the Agricultural Rural Development Authority Dairy Development Project, and GVT for government, and DANIDA, which stands for Danish Development Association. I also had not done the executive summary, which I'll put in the of Zimbabwe in 1988. It has continued to exist as an association up to date, with members electing executive committees to oversee the operations of the business. Apparently, as an association, the following disadvantages have come out, particularly to do with governance, as the elected boards fail to play their oversight role, mismanagement, high pilferage rates, and members of the association have no capacity to meet the capital needs of the business. In my future state, in this business plan, I would like to take the controlling stake, which is 51%, and also give part of the ownership to the current members of the association, as well as employees, and I would also like venture capitalists to come in. And then in terms of basic corporate data, Shkwaka is located like 60 kilometers away from the capital city of Zimbabwe, along a major highway known as the Harare to Mtoko Highway.
No, just give me now. Why didn't you phone them? Security. I phoned them. I just talked to them now. Yeah, only after they phoned me. Does it?
Okay, I'm just blocking.
No.
Okay, sorry guys.
And okay. MCC, as I have already said earlier, was started in 1982 through support from the government of Zimbabwe and support from cooperating partners such as the Danish Development Association. Due to the economic climate that was prevailing in 2005, the MCC closed down, and it wasn't operational until 2010 when I got involved in the MCC as I was working for an international non-governmental organization known as Land or Resuscitate Small-Scale Rural Dairy Farming. So I worked with the Milk Collection Center and 20 others from 2013. And some of the highlights from the time it started was that from 1982 to 2005, the highest membership it achieved was 150, and the daily milk intake level was 1,000 liters. When it was reopened in 2010, farmers delivering milk in 1 year reached 60, and daily milk intake reached 500 liters. During that time, the Milk Collection Center also managed to get into an arrangement with a bigger processor, one of the biggest in the country, called Dairy Board Zimbabwe Limited, and managed to supply 500 liters per week. After 2013, however, without external support, milk intake volumes are on the decline, with daily averages down to less than 100 liters per day, and delivering farmers less than 30. The vision, mission, and values of the MCC are as follows. The vision is to be the preferred partner of choice in the industry, and the mission, is to offer in the most convenient way a wide range of affordable dairy products, brands, and services in the markets that we are present in. The values include transparency, fairness, being a good corporate citizen, teamwork, trustworthy. And products offered in general by processors in the country include liquid milks, which include raw fresh milk, UHT milk, pasteurized milk, flavored milk, fermented, cultured, and natural sour milk. When I look at these liquid milks, I see a gap in the market in terms of the natural sour milk, which I think is quite popular with the locals in Zimbabwe, but not many of the established processors are making this product. And in the business plan, or one of the major highlights would be tried to actually come up with a good product in the natural sour product. We also have powdered milk, which includes full cream, skim milk powder, and substitute creamers. Other dairy products on offer in the country include dairy flavored drinks, dairy fruit juices, yogurts, and cheeses. So as you can see, there are quite an array of products, dairy products, that the MCC can get into. What is particularly interesting is that as a country, we managed to reach about 260 million liters in 1990. And then our milk production started to decline to around 55 million. That is the average in the past 2-3 years. So from that peak, I actually see potential as well in that if at one time we managed to produce 260 million liters, it's quite possible for us, although we are at 55 million, to be able to regain that production level we managed to attain in the 90s. We also estimate that annual demand in Zimbabwe is around 120 million. So given our capacity of 55 million, we are depending a lot on imports from South Africa. And if the MCC can do well, in fact, just capture like 5%, I think, of the market, it will be very profitable and viable. In terms of strategy and plans, I'm not very sure if you can see this, but the way it's structured is that we have financial perspective, just using the balanced scorecard approach. That's why I picked this up and put it here. So we're looking at the financial perspective, and the objective is to earn a reasonable return on capital employed. We are also having a customer perspective and internal perspective and learning and growth perspective. And I have highlighted the objectives under each theme and how I can actually measure to see whether we are managing to attain those objectives. In terms of sales focus, I've put the table shown there, where in 2016 I project that we can be able to sell 180,000 liters, and in the next year we can actually double it, because I'm looking at the MCC having its own dairy cows and also getting the additional milk from the surrounding farmers, because the MCC has the land that it can utilize to actually grow its own dairy head. In 2020, I'm looking at production rising to 1,440,000 liters. And in terms of pricing, these are almost the average prices you get for the different products that the MCC is currently producing. And then in the income statement, projected sales, I've tried to actually put percentages in terms of the tests of the consumers that we have around, and try to project and come up with an income statement to see whether in the 5-year business plan the MCC would be profitable. So in the financial analysis, I have proposed level of investment, and I've highlighted the areas that need to be invested in by the MCC in terms of its fixed assets, and when. So in terms of years 2016 to 2020, I've put the capital needs of the business, and then developed forecast statements of income and expenditure for the years, for the 5-year period. In the first 2 years, the MCC will experience losses, but then it will pick up in 2018, 2019, and 2020, and be highly profitable in the 5th year. In short, this is my presentation.
Okay. Thank you very much, Spencer. I think it is quite a big job you've done here. Can I make a few remarks, please? Can I make a few remarks before we advise everybody else? Could you go back to your vision and mission statement, please? Okay.
Yes, I'm this.
Okay, on your vision statement, you're talking about our industry. I think that you must be much more specific on that. Uh,
Okay.
so the vision should be, the preferred partner of choice in the milk industry, for example, or whatever.
Okay.
And then, this thing about preferred partner, who is going to be your partners?
I was looking at all stakeholders, starting from the consumers, the suppliers,
Okay.
and
Okay.
all stakeholders in general.
Okay, so my advice to you is to have a look at your vision statement, because it seems to me it's a little bit too, you could have gotten it from a dictionary or something, You might- Okay. Then I've got another question for you before we invite the rest of the class, and that's if you could go to that graph you had of the output. There's a graph that you gave us on the output somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, that one, slide 25, I think. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is that we're talking about 260 million liters output in 1990, which was about the highest.
Yes.
Okay, now when I look at your forecasts, you're talking about 1.4 million.
For the MCC, this is for the industry.
Yeah. Okay, so this is for the industry, but now
Yes.
I'm struggling to bring together your MCC targets and the industry output, because we're saying that there's 60 million liters at the moment, roughly.
Yes, around 60 million.
And now you're talking about 1.4 million liters output for the MCC.
About 2%
Of
yes.
that. Okay. Okay.
Which is about 2% if we maintain the same production levels.
Yes. Okay. What I'm trying to say, you need to bring your.
Yes, Prof.
Sorry, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. What I'm trying to say.
Yes, I can.
Your milk output sales target for the MCC, you need to bring that into relation with the total milk output in the country and the demand. In other words, are you saying that anything you can produce, you can sell? That's my question.
Yes. Since at the moment we are really depending on a lot of imports, and I think there is enough capacity for us to be able to reduce that gap. Our import, the amount of imports we are bringing in is a bit high. It's like over 50%.
Okay, so you need to be very specific in your business plan about this, because you have to take the total supply and demand in the country, and then the supply of your MCC, and to say that that is, the demand is X and what we are going to supply is Y, and therefore whatever we are going to supply, it's not impossible to sell it, because sometimes people will think, okay, whatever we can produce, we can sell, and that's not always possible.
Yes, I get you.
Okay, so that is my only remark. I think then, as far as the rest is concerned, obviously you have to work on your plan, and I would like to invite the rest of the class to make some remarks. If there's anybody, I've opened up all the mics now, so if anybody wants to say something, floor is open now.
Kathy, I'd like to just ask, in connection with that question that you had on the output.
Yes.
To say, did you consider pricing? Because we've got a lot of imports, and they tend to do a lot better than local products because of the pricing. They tend to price them cheaper.
Yes, I did look at that. Yes, Catherine? I did consider that. Yes, the imports come in a little cheaper from South Africa because of different conditions, and so in terms of the pricing, I'd really need to price competitively so that we can also compete with the imports coming in. The issue is that in South Africa they face lower production costs because they're able to actually grow the feed that they give to the animals to produce GMO, whereas in Zimbabwe we have a policy against GMO. So you find that our production costs are a bit higher.
Yeah.
But thanks for your input.
Thank you very much for those.
Maybe another question. Sorry, I joined you.
Yes, please.
I wanted to just say, in terms of presentation, I thought there's too much information to try and then remember some of the things that we saying. I don't know how the others feel.
Yes, it's a comprehensive presentation.
Yeah, I actually saw that as well, but it was difficult for me to try and cut it. It was difficult on my part to see how best I could cut it so that it was I could make it shorter.
Because I can see got the assignment done already.
Okay. Spencer, the one thing I could say maybe that was a little bit missing is the operational plans. Yeah, because we're talking about increasing your output for your MCC, but you didn't say how you're going to do that. So be careful of that particular area, because you've given us quite a lot of information on the background and the shortages, etc. And you say we are going to increase it, but you did not say how we're going to do that. And I accepted that this is a presentation, but in your actual business plan, you'll have to be very specific about that, because it is important not to theorize about output. Can they
Yes.
can they produce the output? Is there enough cattle? Is there enough feed? So that is just some technical issues that you must be aware of.
Yes, noted, Prof. Thanks.
Right. Any other remarks, perhaps, from the group? Emmanuel? You want to say something, Emmanuel?
Prof, I got the guy in the middle of the presentation, so I don't really have the background.
Okay, I thought you said you wanted
to the next presenter.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, guys, if there's no other questions to Spencer, I think your project is a nice project, and I think that's a real. It's not a theoretical thing, It is for real. Producing milk and selling milk is not. I'm going to make computer screens and sell it to Korea. It is. I think your project that you picked is a nice project, and it will actually. I would actually be very interested to read it myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. We have two other people who wants to make presentations. One is Evelyn, and the other one is Tangeni. I don't know, Evelyn, are you ready to go, Evelyn?
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Yes, Prof.
So then I'm going to switch to you. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah. Now it's not moving.
Good morning.
Good morning, but I'm not able to move the slides. I don't know what's Prof?
Yes.
Okay, now I can move.
Yes.
Okay, good morning, colleagues. My name is Evelyn, as Prof said already, and I'm just going to give you a presentation on my business, which is called Practica Africa. And I don't need to go through the agenda, but basically those are the areas that I'm going to touch base on. Basically, our company, Practica Africa CC, has been registered in 2003, and we have been in operation for all those years. I'm very proud that we have been in operation for all those years because mostly people tend to face challenges with companies and they tend to open other new companies. So we have been through thick and thin with this company, and I'm the founding director of it. The company is focusing in 3 areas, which one is the accommodation business unit. The other one, the accommodation is basically having, we are having a student village that we call Bach Street Student Village in various areas of the Windhoek West in Windhoek, Namibia. And the other one is training and consultancy, and the other one is medical supplies. But for this project, it's mostly on the student village, which I have been talking about throughout this whole assignment, and how we want to diversify it. Let me just get rid of one of these. Yeah. We basically foresee experiencing challenges in securing clients for our student village because the Windhoek city was not really designed to cater for a lot of inhabitants that are growing at a very fast rate. And the only option for the city to expand, the central business district to expand, is in the area where we are having accommodation. So the government is putting laws now that if you sell a property within this area, they have to be the first option because the city is really growing fast and needs to cater. And there's a noise in the background. So for this business, a lot of people are really copying the accommodation business because you can provide accommodation. People are within the walking distance to the universities, to the city center, to the every spot. So we see challenges that everybody living within this area is going the same route, providing accommodation. So we need to diversify to something else that somebody else is not doing, so we can actually face the competition. And one of the diversification that we have been working on is to collaborate with the University of Science and Technology, which is the Polytechnic, which is about 1 minute's walk from us. And mostly our clients, the students, international students, are hosted in our place for the university. So we thought of diversifying by opening up the Institute of Nutrition and Food Safety Research. And that's one of the units within, one of the dwelling within the same premises. We want to convert it to the Institute of Nutrition and Food Safety Research. Oops, I can't move anymore.
I think so. Tina's going to take them. And I think, yeah, we should be back by 1 o'clock. Yes. Well, yeah. I think you're not back with you. You just, yeah. We could go after them. Okay. Thank you, Danny. Okay. You're feeding them all, huh? You're feeding.
Rooms and office. Oops, I'm gone completely.
No, the professor is back.
But we can still hear you.
Yeah, but I need to, to go to the next slide. I kept you entertained.
Okay, we are. I'm back here, guys. Sorry, something happened to my internet. Yeah.
Okay, but Prof, I'm not. Give me back the slide.
Okay.
The screen.
Yeah. Sorry. There we go. Evelyn, just a minute. I'm not sure what has happened now. Okay. Okay, just a minute. I just want to try and see what's going on here. Just a minute. Sorry, guys. It's my fault. I can't. It's my fault. I'm just trying to see what's going on.
No problem.
Can everybody see my screen at the moment?
Yes,
No.
we can see the yeah, tutoring room.
Of course, now it is freezing here on my side, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Let me just see. So I should be able to make you the presenter, but it's not working. And I think Belinda's not here. Just a minute.
Yeah, it's telling me that I'm experiencing, I'm also now, I may experience network connection difficulty to improve. Oh, oops. Uh-oh. No.
Can I try to present? Because I'm also presenting today.
Yeah, we are just struggling to see the screen. I'll let me try and Emmanuel, see if we can. I'm just going to switch to your screen because it looks like we are freezing with. And then I'll go back, Evelyn. Let me see now if I can. Make you the presenter. There we go. Okay. Okay, we should be back on your screen now, Evelyn. Just a minute.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Show me. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Back on stream.
And our solution is to, like you said, the solution that we want to come up with is to convert the accommodation, one of the dwellings, into lecture rooms and offices. It's cost saving because when you talk about students and accommodation, they use the water and the electricity 24/7. But when you have an office space and you're getting exactly the same amount of money from the rental, it's much cheaper because office spaces only use your premises during the working hours, which is from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, if over time, very little. And then there we will save on electricity as well and water and repairs, because office spaces, the repairs and maintenance are very, very low as comparison to accommodation places, looking at the type of clients that we are having. And then we would also have the same stable income, and we are able to attract also specific clients that are interested to study in the same, actually that want to engage in the Institute of Nutrition and Food Safety Research. And the other advantage, we are, you are just so close. Your accommodation is very much close to your place of work. And then just a little bit of the company. I've told you about the company. It's a Namibian bona fide company, and it's in existence for more than 10 years now, and it's in good standing with all the relevant authorities and ministries, and it's financially sound, and it's actually reputable in those 3 areas that I've talked about. So the target market for the institute is mostly it's as a backup to university and colleges in Windhoek, and there's no such institute at the moment that is in the country, and nutrition is very much high on the agenda of government, and government want educational institute to capacitate people with knowledge in Namibia, and the degree criteria that is going to be hosted, or the educational criteria that is going to be offered, is mostly cross-cutting of all sectors, because nutrition is not only food that is on your table, but it brings in aspects of poverty, it brings in aspect of hygiene, it brings in aspect of it's cross-cutting, multi-sectorial approach, basically. Basically, the advantage, I spoke about it already when my slide was frozen. So this is what I'm saying. We are the first and one of the kind in the country, and then we don't foresee there's nobody in the market that is doing that currently. The competitive advantage that you are having is that you can offer both lecture rooms and accommodation for students and our visiting professors. The plan involves housing mostly the polytechnic students and some students from surrounding universities in Namibia. And the marketing plan will sell, mostly we would be selling office spaces and lecture rooms to the institute of nutrition and food safety research, and to a similar amount that we are currently getting from students, but reduction in all those costs that I have mentioned before. Mostly our team that we are having, putting all these things together, we have teams coming from all sectors, financial sectors, educational sectors, and teams that are in a long relationship with the Polytechnic of Namibia, and that's the team that we bring on the table. And this plan is expected to save the company 432 per year after taxes, and for the next 3 years. And most of the savings are done on those maintenance costs, water and electricity and repair, and all those costs that I mentioned before. And like I said before, not our business model from the first assignment is basically to use the owner equity that is in the form of savings, and transform one of the accommodation unit into this training facility where we have lecture rooms, and we have conference rooms, and we have offices as well, at the same premises where the student village is being hosted. Unfortunately, I didn't really finish the budget because I'm still working on it to go into final details to make sure that the budget is, the figures are accurate. And the timeline, I still need to work on it for the assignment. This aspect will be completed. And I thank you for your listening.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. I would like to invite comments from the group, if there's any.
Yes, Prof. I think my comment is that Evelyn is trying to get into a different kind of business that is currently not offered in Namibia, and the plan seems to be quite good because it's kind of different from what she's been doing in the past and what others are actually into in terms of office space and accommodation for students.
Yes, yes. And of course, you've got the fixed infrastructure. Now, fixed infrastructure is both a blessing and a curse in business, because on the one hand, fixed infrastructure gives you access into funding, but at the same time, fixed infrastructure also has a lot of financial burdens that you have to understand if you want to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Evelyn, just one or two things. I did not pick up on your. Now we were disrupted a little bit, so I might have missed it, but I was not quite sure if I understood your business proposal properly. Are you going to convert? Is the business proposal about converting into lecture rooms, or what is the business proposal?
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
We're changing the one unit, one dwelling, into lecture room and offices, yes.
Okay, and that particular conversion, you have to budget the capital, which you've done with the long-term financing, and then you have to budget the maintenance, which you've done in your short-term financing, and then you have to budget the income from that.
Yes.
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 And actually, how are you going to do that? Yes. You have to explain your marketing plan.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any other remarks perhaps from the group? Yeah, I just want to say, guys.
Catherine, how did you come up?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to know how she arrived at the figure she's seeking for funding when she had not completed a budget.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing as well. Say, because it was quite a definite number.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. These figures come from the previous assignments because we are not. We looked at options of raising funds in the previous assignments, and we thought we can use the money that is saved for the owners to convert one of the units. So we're not going to the bank, or we're not getting anybody to come into the business to venture with the business. So we are using the owner's equity that as has been shown in the previous assignment to convert these units into office spaces. And that's how, and we thought of bringing that money back in the saving that we calculated from the previous assignment is that much more.
Okay.
Yes. Unfortunately, some of us missed Evelyn's first presentation, but I did listen to the first one. And so, guys, we must just remember on this thing that in Evelyn's case, for example, she did not elaborate on that because she did it in the previous presentation. But as far as I can remember, she has done the work, she has done the budget, how she arrived to those figures. It's a valid question, but the only problem is you were not there when she did the presentation. Okay. But okay, but Evelyn, you have to, in your business plan, you have to bring those things in. Make sure of it that you quantify, that you show how to quantify. You cannot just say I refer to my previous assignments, because the business plan has to have that information in how you actually did arrive at that.
Yeah, sure, Prof. And that I have done because also the comment that I got from the feedback that I got from Prof. Prof. Barry on the previous assignment, I have basically I had to go back and rework on those assignments, incorporate the comments, and make sure that it reflects now exactly the same in this last assignment.
Okay, cool. Just a general remark. The business plan assignment is a very nice one because you can be very creative in your presentation. So, you know, there are no strict rules for this particular assignment. It's a nice one. Okay. Right. Any other remarks from the group, or can we move on to somebody else?
Nothing from me, but just to check, Prof, if you got my presentation, because I think I was supposed to present as well.
No, I do not have yours, Catherine. It's fine. You can do the presentation. I didn't get it.
You didn't get it. Okay.
Okay, but the reason I put Evelyn in here is because she needs to leave shortly. Who else has to leave? Is it just Evelyn? Okay. Just for me then to pick the next one. I know Catherine has one, Emmanuel has one, and Tangeni has got one presentation. So Tangeni, would you like to go ahead with yours? Is Tangeni there? Okay.
She was there.
Yeah, I spoke to her earlier, but I don't know where she is now. Emmanuel, are you ready to go, Emmanuel?
Yes, I'm ready, Prof.
Okay, now let me then make you the presenter, and then you go ahead. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, there you go, Emmanuel.
Okay, let me just see. Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's
Morning.
Saturday morning. I'll be presenting on this financial model management. Of course, I've chosen one project that we are trying to undertake. It's a multi-billion-dollar project. We're trying to set up a new port at Angra Freya Point. It's just a few kilometers from Angola. And then the reason was because there's so many minerals, especially there was 3 billion tons of iron ore discovered in that area of around Opo, and it's to be more feasible if we just import it directly from that side instead of bringing it to Walvis Bay or Lutherans. There was some feasibility study done. We are continuing with more studies like geotechnical studies, marketing studies, and etc. But the project have support from the central government, so it's actually up to us to polish it up and make it take off the ground. Okay. So just for your general knowledge, currently that's Namport have 2 ports, one in Walvis Bay and then another one in Lutherans. So we're trying to set up the 3rd one. Actually, you cannot really see it in this slide. It's somewhere in the north. And then you can see the roads there. We serve mostly the landlocked countries in Southern Africa. Only 20% of our the volume we handle is destined from Namibia. 80% is for the landlocked countries and our neighbors. Okay, the research program the business planning is about planning and communication. Emphasis should be put on the communicating the idea and pursuit for the support. This particularly for the financial aspect of the plan, especially here there's no way Namport will be able to fund this project from its own balance sheet. We have to go for external funding with government guarantee, obviously. Maybe from African Development Bank, because currently we have a $3 billion container terminal, but we funded it from African Development Bank. So we're most likely going to follow the same financial model. Okay, just for introduction again, the mission for Namport is to provide world-class port services to local, regional, international seaboard trade through excellent customer service, sustainable growth, and social responsibility. Our vision is to be the best performing world-class port in Africa. And then our values are discipline, integrity, safety, sense of agency, and honesty. Yes, some of the Namport key business activities to actually manage the port facility to cater for the current and trade needs. So we are the only institution in Namibia that's allowed to manage port facilities. So we must also develop the port for current and future demands. That's why we are currently having the expansion project, because the current capacity is simply small. The mines are growing, new minerals are being and discovered. The population is growing also, not just Namibia, but also for countries. So we must cater for that economic growth. Yeah, and also we must promote the port of Walvis Bay, Lutherans, and in future port of Angra Freya. as preferred route for seaborne trade between SADC, Europe, and the Americas. Yeah, we did some SWOT analysis where we look at our strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. With our strength, we found that we actually for the last 2 years we've been receiving awards for the best performing port, even though our equipments are outdated. We still use the mobile cranes, but we found that we are still efficient. The security, we are safe. The port is very safe, and also the brand. So Namport is still, we have a strong brand, integrity. Yeah. But our weakness, we have capacity is not really enough. The rail connection is also a problem, especially with the port of Lutherits. We just busy with the project now to connect the port to the rail. Skill is also a problem because currently we have our pilots. They are mostly from Russia, Cuba. It takes years to train this kind of people, you know. And apparently our tariffs are higher. Also, the energy cost is very high. Namibia electricity is very expensive. Yeah, the opportunities we look at, we found that we are strategically located, especially we are close to the BRICS nation. Okay, if you excluding China and Russia, but we are close to especially Brazil, South Africa, and also the West Africa. The economic growth there is very fast. For the inner lane, we have good road connections. We have established. We have a client base which is established. We have like Maersk and CMA. They have offices in Walvis Bay. And but the other threat is that as far as we are expanding our capacity and modernizing our equipment, training our people, everybody else is doing the same. Not the ports like in Cape Town, Durban, Porto Nangala, Nami Port in Angola, there up to West Africa. Everybody is investing billions of dollars to expand their capacity. So the competition is very high. Also, the high capital cost here to fund this port infrastructure project is very expensive. We no longer talk about millions. Everything is just in billions now. Also, and then another thing, the threat is small Namibian market. So we must try to convince the external, the international people to come and use our port. Imbalances cargo flow. We have this business called transshipment. It's not really reliable. It's where the containers come and just the ship comes, just drop the container in the port, and then the other liner come and take it again from the port to other. So it doesn't leave the port. And this business it's a good business, but it's not stable. So you cannot really rely on it. Okay, on the next slide. So our strategy is actually to we found that the key differential remain in the SADC region. So we trying to actually grow or capture more business for the SADC region. That's why we even come up with a new port plane. We call it the SADC Gateway Port. The first phase has already started. It's also a $3 billion project of oil tanker jetty. Yeah. So, and then we also trying to capture Botswana core with that North Port project, also called SADC Gateway Port project. So actually now we must focus on the SADC region. Namibia, the port will never be make a business sense if we just focus on Namibian volume, because it's only 20%. So we must also continuously invest in infrastructure, not just fixed infrastructures, but also mobile cranes, trailers, yeah, and expanding the new Angra Free Airport. So for the new Angra Free Airport, where I did the business plan will be really based on it will be serving as a fishing harbor, as well as the shipping for also other countries for our SADC region, and many minerals that are being discovered in that area. As I said, the area 3 billion ton of iron have been discovered around Kunene region. Also some people were were coming up with a plan to set up a steel manufacturing factory at Otavi there. So the idea is also to ship those volumes into Angra Free. Valves Bay will be just too far. Okay. And then the project cost, it will cost roughly about I did it in the previous assignments. Yeah, it will cost about 300 million US dollar, and that was from the pre-feasibility study done about more than 5 years ago. Yeah, so probably those figures have changed, and then we discovered that the project is viable, but it's in a long term, in 50 years. If you look at it in a 50-year horizon. Conclusion: Angra Praia is a suitable site for the port of development in the inland future port. So technically, it's possible to develop a port in Angra Free. We have almost natural deep water there, so you don't need to do a lot of dredging. Also, there's no rock crops, so the sand is soft. So yeah, but this we must also, when developing this port, we must also look at developing the other various supporting infrastructure like townships, schools, clinics. We're going to have a new town at Angra Free, because where people will be living. And then the project can be developed using a PPP or project finance model, because as I say, our asset base is about 3 billion. We will never be able to fund that project from our own balance sheet. Then you can also look at the project finance where face, so that the cash flow and everything that's like doesn't take the kind of operation Okay, that's it. Any questions?
Okay, great. Okay, yeah. Any questions, please? Spencer.
Yes, Emmanuel. One or two comments. Right at the beginning, you put a research problem, and I think for this assignment, where we are doing the business plan, there's no need to include that aspect of the research problem. And my other point was that you gave us a good presentation in terms of the cost, but in terms of the revenue side, I didn't see that. It would be interesting to actually get the revenue side as well.
Okay.
I think those are the two comments.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, I did a lot of cash flow in the previous assignment that I could just it was about maybe 10 pages of financial analysis. Yeah. Okay. So I'll try I was trying to summarize it as much as possible in this assignment. Also, for a short time, I only have 6 minutes to present. So, yeah. Yeah, but I take note of that.
It's the same challenge I faced.
Yeah.
Emmanuel?
Yes,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I didn't hear about your competition.
Well, no, the competition. I said we are competing with our neighboring ports. Like we have a port of Lobito, also port of Namib in Angola. They also investing in new infrastructure. Also, port of Cape of Durban is also our biggest competitor in South Africa. The port of Cape Town is our competitor. There's now this big competitor, port of Kuha. It was just commissioned, I think 2 years back. It's for bulk terminal, and actually they want also to take that Botswana coal, which we are targeting here. So it's not very easy. Also, some port in up north there is you go to there's a port in Togo, yeah. So it's all along the coast. All the ports are competing for the volumes.
Yeah.
And our shipping lines, what they are looking at efficiency. So they want to go to a port where they can dock, and then you offload as many containers as possible, and then they leave to the next port. So if the guy had to come to your port and stay maybe the whole day or 24 hours or 48 hours, and then there's this other guy, he can go to the port and he's maybe 6 hours the ship is ready to sail to another port. So he'll go to the guy who can do it faster. So that's why we must invest in equipment, the cranes that can do, we call them ship-to-shore cranes that move very many moves per hours. Currently, we are making 20 moves per hour because we don't have ship-to-shore cranes, we use mobile cranes. But other ports that have ship-to-shore, you do up to over 40 moves per hour. That is very high. And then that's why we cannot compete. That's why we invest in the new infrastructure.
Then you should tie it with the market segment that you will be taking off. Yeah. What is your share in the market when you have identified your competition?
Yeah, because currently we
taking from all those competition. What is your take?
Okay, in the port there is containers, there's bulk, there's brick bulk, there is but Namport is our target is containers. Yeah, but we also have some break bulk like cars. We import cars. We import coal. We import fuel. And a lot of those loose materials, Yeah, but we are targeting containers. That's where we make our most of our money from. We are preferred, but the current capacity we are already limited. We cannot take any more volumes. So it's useless to go look for more business why you cannot handle the current. And that's why we only after the new container terminal open, the current which will be commissioned in 2017. That's when we will try to fight for more market share.
Yeah.
Because currently
my last question is to Prof. Do we have to touch on the break-even analysis in this Gantt chart they are talking about here? Or
I think I don't think the Gantt chart is applicable unless it's a big project that you're taking on, like the one with Emmanuel. Maybe you can do that, but I don't think the Gantt chart is applicable. What was the other part you asked me about, Evelyn?
They talked about break-even analysis as well.
Look, break-even analysis is always good, but I think break-even analysis is more important in no, look, break-even analysis is always important. Let me make no mistake. What I wanted to say is that, for example, if you look at Emmanuel's project, the break-even analysis is much less critical because it's a strategic project than, for example, the one that Spencer did on the milk collection center. Yes. So I would always advise you to have a break-even analysis in your business plan.
Okay.
It gives the investor a view of the robustness of your proposal as well as time, because the break-even analysis can show, it will take 2 or 3 years to break even. Now, when you look at when people look at business plans, they look basically at two types of business plans. For example, the one that you have done, Evelyn, is backed up by a fixed property. But for example, the one that Spencer has done, there is no fixed property. So the one that Spencer is doing is far more of a venture capitalist kind of project. Now, where that makes a difference is people who provide funding against a venture capital thing. They are looking at a payback of very high value. So I put in 5,000 and I expect to get 10. So because I'm taking a big risk and therefore I want a very high return. So they look at a 2-year to 3-year payback in a venture capital business. In a project where, for example, yours and Emmanuel's is much more of a long-term nature, the break-even analysis will show, maybe starting to break even after 3 years and then slowly improving because there's fixed property backing up the thing. And in Emmanuel's project, it is a much more strategic investment, which will take a long time to render a profit. So the break-even analysis shows the potential investor what he is dealing with.
Okay.
I hope I've explained that. But the Gantt chart, I don't think. Look, I don't want to tell you, but the thing about this assignment, as I said previously, is that there is a bit of freedom in how you want to present it. So you don't have to stick that much to the rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Then I look forward to listen to the recording.
Yes. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Guys,
Sorry,
sure. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to know the reading materials, because I downloaded this the definitive business plan. But do we have a mandatory reading material for this course? Because I'm just reading from the definite business plan. Studley 2011. Yeah, I downloaded it from the internet. But it looked like it's a very good guide. Give you a good guidelines.
Yeah. Like there are so many different styles of business plans. And I think to a large degree, your business plan must be crafted towards your target market. When you are looking at angel investors, for example, they look at the person, they look at the management team and so forth. when you're looking at, for example, banks and pension funds and people like that, they look at the long-term return. They're not so very much concerned about the short-term return. So there's lots of different types of business plans, and I think one single set of reading material is not going to give you all the information you need. Okay. Catherine, are you ready to do your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, then I will make you the, can I switch to your screen then?
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet. Just give it a bit of time. Sometimes it's slow. Okay, there we can now.
You can see it now.
Yes.
Okay, let me just try and make it. Just trying to.
Yeah, it was there and then it moved away.
Okay. You can see it now.
No, not yet. It was there and then it moved away. Shows, tells me waiting to view. So, let me just move around a bit. I'm just. Okay.
Sorry? Okay.
Let's see how your screen's going. Okay, there we go now. We are ready.
You can see it now.
Yes, we are ready for you.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to present on that business plan, and unlike the other presenters, I've just summarized it to just give some of the pages that I will have. So, like on my cover page, I'm just giving some of the information. Basically, to just highlight that I'm seeking $200,000 funding to relocate the current business. We've been operating from our current premises for 50 years, but now we need to move on, and I will explain later why we need to do that. And then in the next slide, let's move on to the next one. In the next slide, I've just given a brief outline of some of the things that I would include. So there's a cover page and then the table of contents, just a few items. And then also the issue to do with the copyright. I'd like to then, I've got a question on that copyright as well. I'll come back to that. But otherwise, that's the table of contents. And then the issues to do with restrictions, copyright restrictions. Then for the preliminary pages, I just took what is in one of the recommended readings to just say I'm going to have the contents, contact details, I'll be the contact person, the definitions, and the executive summary. And I've said a bit more on the executive summary in the next slide. For the executive summary, I'm looking at giving information on the company, the corporate strategy, the product that we have, and the financial projections. As far as corporate strategy is concerned, I'm looking at ILSA, which is an education provider for both academic and professional courses, and these are examined by local boards like ZIMTech, Hexico, and also external boards like Cambridge, City and Guilds. And we need to relocate from the current premises. One of the things that is happening is a lot of businesses are now moving away from the CBD area to the outlying areas, the surrounding suburbs that have just been designated as commercial areas. And with the image of ILSA, it's sort of an upmarket business. And you can actually see a lot of people are now trying to move away from the CBD area. So even the clientele, the people that I'm targeting, they're moving away as well. And that's part of the reason why we'd like to downsize and relocate. And we'd like to relocate to a smaller property because with the academic programs, we needed a lot of space. Now that we're going to focus on professional courses, we don't need that much space. Currently, we're occupying using maybe 40% of our capacity. And in terms of the product itself, we're offering educational services. It's like a two-in-one where we offer academic courses for Form 1 to Form 6, which is secondary school. And then we also offer professional courses, like in this case, we are looking at things like telecommunications, Cisco networking, IT system support, laboratory science, and so on. So we've got a number of examination boards, and the idea is to streamline those products so that we end up with fewer products, but we do them exceedingly well. Also, over the years, in the 50 years, if you say on average we're training 300 students per year, translates to about 15,000. And we are saying there's still potential to do a lot more and to get people to benefit directly from our services. Then for the reasons why we're requesting for this funding, we are saying we need to relocate. So we need bridging finance because our business is seasonal. So we need 200,000 to enable us to move to the new place and make sure that we have laboratories set up because we offer sciences. And also there are certain security features that are required for us to comply with the requirements of, say, Cambridge, ZIMTech, to then be able to store exam papers, scripts, and so on. So in terms of infrastructure, we're moving into a place where there are buildings already, but we just need to add on these security features, and we also need to make sure that we get one of the rooms or convert or build extra rooms to cater for the science laboratories. And then part of the reason why we also had to move is because over the years, the numbers have deteriorated because of our deteriorating economic situation. We were sitting on 3 properties. It was quite big, and we then had problems servicing that bond because the assumptions that we had made when we applied for the mortgage were now very different with the situation on the ground. So we then said we decided now to sell the property, pay back that mortgage bond, and start afresh from renting and then rebuild the business. Fortunately, we've got a very strong brand. It's very well known, and it has been there for years, and a lot of people have gone through that system. So we think we can gain lost market share by focusing more and getting rid of a lot of the unnecessary products that we had, and then just focus on the core and rebuild from that. In terms of the financial projections, just the income, the inflows for just the first year, but I've got projections for up to 3 years from the previous assignments. What I'd like to just highlight is most of our inflows come from tuition. We offer classes, but we also have some people that will come to just write examinations. So in our first year, we are hoping to raise money from tuition. We're also hoping to raise money from selling some of our assets as we downsize. We're also going to borrow. But the borrowings are not much initially because of the current economic situation, where it's very difficult to secure lines of credit. And then other income, the other things that we do, like with people that rent part of the premises and so on. So when you look at our total inflows compared to our total outflows, we then find that we need some funding in the first year, because we're starting off with a negative figure of 100,000, is what we need to pay back to the people that have provided the bond. The next slide just summarizes the position with our cash inflows, and then the next one is giving us our cash outflows and the final position. Our major costs are for wages and salaries, and there are changes that are taking place in that area. Our labor laws are being amended and so on, and we hope that we'll also benefit from that, because currently it's very expensive to retrench. In our situation, we would have wanted to downsize, but if you're having to pay a retrenchment package, it becomes very expensive. So we're actually watching the Labor Amendment Act and what is going to happen carefully, because it will have an impact on our costs as well. But as it is, our wages and salaries occupy a big portion of that. Then we've got all the other expenses. Now, if we relocate, we'll now be renting. So that's why there's a figure for rent there. And then the relocation cost, fortunately, it's not going to be much. We've got a lot of the assets that we need already, and it's mostly just the rent and the transportation. In terms of our finance costs, I've also worked it out. Our interest rates are very high. I remember last time Evelyn presented and I was saying, wow, wish I was in Namibia. Our interest rates are very high, and I used an average rate of 25%. So in the first quarter, we're starting off with a negative figure of 100,000. Net cash flow is negative, so it increases our closing balance. But with the assumptions that we've made, we hope that by the time we get to the second year, we'll now be operating in a positive, with positive cash flows. But we still need some money to see us through the second year, and then from the third year onwards, we don't need any borrowings, any funding from it. And then for the other pages for my business plan, I just copied what was in the recommended readings. I'm going to have an organizational chart showing where I am. I'm the CEO, and I report directly to the board of directors. And then the bright idea was, to use the strategy where we downsize, focus on what we can do best, and then grow again from that. Because there's a lot of competition. A lot of people have gone into education because most of the other business sectors are not doing that well. And then in terms of our break-even analysis, I've got that, but I didn't put it in this slide. But generally, for most of our courses that we offer, our break-even point is between 5 and 10 students. So if we've got 10 students for that particular program, we break even. And the costs that we normally have are for the lecturers. But if we employ them on a part-time basis, it really reduces the burden. And so 5 to 10 students per course will be adequate for us to break even. And then in terms of the return that to provide, initially we're saying, if you see the last point there in the conclusion, we're hoping to get at least 30% return. It's not as high as a lot of people would want, but it then increases. So from the first year, we're expecting it to be 30%, and in the second year, maybe about 40%, and then after that, it should then be a handsome return. So This plan is intended to be presented to seek financing and is bridging finance because of the seasonal nature. And we need a lump sum initially to relocate, and then thereafter, we hope that in our third year onwards, we will be able to stand on our own and will not need any financing. Thank you.
Well done. Well done, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I think this is a very thorough presentation. I particularly liked that the way you summarized it at the end with your 6 key pages, because I think that is very creative, and I really enjoyed to see that. Can you show us that slide again? Yes. So it shows your whole plan in a nutshell, you know, and that is, I think, I have not seen this before, but I really like it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I've seen many business plans in my life. Okay, guys, we are here to assist Catherine to improve and to ask her questions so that we can improve our own things. So, any remarks from the floor, please? Is there anybody who wants to say anything? Is it because it's too good to say anything about it, or what?
Or too brief?
No, I don't.
Yes, Prof.
Yes, please go ahead, Spencer.
Yes, Prof. I just wanted to know from Catherine whether she has really done a thorough market research in terms of the educational needs of potential students in Zimbabwe. When she's trying to streamline whether she offer the appropriate courses that will be in demand at these particular periods, covering her business plan.
In terms of research, I'm actually in the process because of for the dissertation, we had started something. Otherwise, it was like, you know, it used to be an informal approach to finding out information. But now we actually going to carry out proper research so that we get to know what people are looking for. But so far, what I've picked up is there's confusion in the market to say, where do we fall under? So ILSA is a profit-making organization. It falls under the non-formal sector. So it's more like remedial lessons. So we fall under the non-formal sector. And so that gives us a lot of flexibility. We're not tied down as formal schools are to what we offer.
Okay. And my other comment was that in the last monetary policy, I think the Reserve Bank governor actually put a maximum on the rates of interest to 18%. So I think that would be of benefit to you if you can just align your financial statements, taking into consideration the Reserve Bank governor's directive.
Okay, all right. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Because previously we had borrowed. Actually, that's what gave us problems. We borrowed from commercial banks, and the rates were very high. They were about 25%.
High, yes.
Now with that ceiling at 18%, that will also improve the situation. Thanks for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that is very valuable. Any other comments on this presentation?
She really managed to make it short and really nice.
Yeah, for the record, I'm also in the education industry, and I'm very interested to see how other private institutions go about their business, you know. So it was, I'm personally keen on this, because in Zambia we have, at the moment, I'm involved in three different education businesses. One is doing public health and we're involved in laboratories and things like that, HIV/AIDS research and so forth. And then we've got another one that's doing management training online. And we've also started a private university here in Zambia now as well. And our university will also be marketing in Zimbabwe. So you must look out for us there.
Yes, we've
What is the name?
It's called Africa Research University.
Okay.
So have a look at. You'll see us in a year's time. You know. The other interesting thing, just for your noting, is that I used to be one of the owners of CACC in Zimbabwe until until 2008 or thereabouts. Yes, and CACC was established also in 1963 or 64. I'm not sure. So they're both very old.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, that's interesting. Yeah, that's just for your interest's sake. So.
Compare notes.
Yeah, we must compare notes. Madame, it was a very good presentation and well done on that. Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the only other presentation I just want to check here is that I'm not sure if Tangeni is available for the presentation. Tangeni, your mic is off and I don't know if you can hear me. So let me just see if she can react.
Sorry, Prof. The one question I wanted to ask about the copyright. How do you get that?
I saw the copyright on your presentation.
Yeah, I've put it, but I'd like to then apply for that.
Normally copyright is protected. I am not exactly sure how you do that. The copyright normally, once you say that it's your material, somebody else cannot use it. The only other way to get it copyrighted is to apply for an ISBN number. ISBN.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that is quite a big process. So unless you want to, normally academic materials is automatically copyright protected. So in terms of your work and the work that you're doing through IBR and Steinbeis, by nature it's protected.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot for that.
Okay. So guys, I'm not quite sure. It looks to me like I'm not connecting with Tangeni. And she
I can add.
Yes, please do so. Please.
Yes, Catherine, you can get in touch with your lawyers because I think it's actually critical because when we are a bit skeptical when we give like business plans to external parties that they might actually take some of that stuff and actually use it for their own benefit.
Because that has happened also.
So get in touch with your lawyer. I'm sure you'll be able to draft something that will make it an offense to actually take your business idea.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other advice I can give you is always for anybody who reads your presentation to sign an undertaking of confidentiality.
Okay.
The lawyers can do that for you. Yes. It's just one pager.
Okay.
Right.
All right. I'll follow that.
Okay. Guys, so from my side, I've been trying to connect with Tangeni via the voice over IP, and she is not able to talk to me for some reason. she has told me that she has sent her presentation to Belinda, but Belinda is also not available right now. So I do not know if there's anybody else who would like to say something or make a presentation. Is there anybody who, or are we done for the day?
Nothing for me. I think I'm done for the day.
Done.
Okay. Okay. Right. From my side, thank you very much. It was a very enjoyable session to me, and I really enjoyed everybody's inputs. And we were talking in 3 countries because I'm based in Lusaka at the moment, and then we had our students in Zimbabwe, and we had our students in Namibia. So it is quite interesting that we and I represent South Africa too. So there's 4 countries today on the session, Belinda and South Africa. So it was quite interesting, and thank you, well done to everybody who participated, and it was very nice. Thank you very much. If you need to contact me, you can get my email address from Belinda.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prof.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you very much, everybody. Goodbye.
And thanks to everyone.
Yes.
Pleasant day.
Thank you.
Thank you.